Yeah, the main difference is the ribs. With the horse there's 17 ribs.
Yep.
And with the dog there's 12. Only 12 ribs.
Yep.
So with the
No, Cody.
So with the dog, the association points, the main reference point is this one here. That's governing vessel 14.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that the shoulder blades come up here like this, and then there are several points in here. Just opens up there like that far,
Mm-hmm.
and there are points in here. So the associated effect points begin here at bladder 11,
Okay.
bladder 12, and bladder 13. Whereas
Yeah.
with the horse, that because of the shape, that's the withers area there. So that first 5 ribs is kind of not counted.
Okay.
So the associated effect points start from behind the 5th rib or 6th.
On the dog?
No, on
the
horse.
horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodish.
So that gives the same. So it gives 12. I think it's 12. Bladder 11 to bladder 23. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
12 points on the dog here,
Mm-hmm.
but on the horse, it's that section there because you've got more ribs.
Okay. So where does it start on a
And
dog
they're
in
all
terms
in a
of rib
line.
correlation?
And that would be the back of the first
Rib.
Yeah, the back of the first rib.
Okay.
Actually, in the front of the first rib.
Yep.
So that's there. So you got
Okay.
the main reference points governing 14. So where the cervical and thoracic begin,
Yep.
that's where governing vessel 14 is
Okay.
on the centre line.
Okay.
Then you go out from there and back a little way
Mm-hmm.
to start with bladder 11, which gets into here.
Okay. And that's the starting of the associated points.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that's bladder 11. If you feel just that one there, you feel just it's a bit tight in there.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Cody. Okay. So you find the first rib, and in front of the first
The main
rib.
one, you start with that.
Start with that?
14.
Yep.
Then you can go back through the vertebra.
Okay. And then you just come out laterally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you go for the gaps in the vertebra.
Mm-hmm.
So the first gap, and that's bladder 11.
Yep.
Come out there, and then it goes back to bladder 12. Now that would be that far in the centre line.
Yep.
It's one chun from the centre line on Cody.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be you'll get one in there. So
Okay.
what you do, you start with those, and for the diagnosis, yeah, that's a good boy. You just
Let me just make sure you're in that camera. Stay there, Cody. Yep. Cody's in the camera. Beautiful. Yep.
So you have your reference, the main reference points, governing 14. You have Barware,
Yep. And Barwe still found with that
yeah.
last rib and yep.
Then you have from Barware you go 3 forward to find your bladder 23.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and
3 vertebra forward.
3 vertebra forward, and go out from there to find the bladder 23. You find a nice soft spot in there.
Yep.
And so so you've got the 2 reference points now, governing vessel 14. You can work back from those for these
Mhm.
ones up higher,
Yep.
or you can keep going, or you can work forward from here.
Bladder 23. Yep.
So they'll go to bladder 23, feel it in there, feel if there's any tightness or tension in there.
Okay. Uh-huh.
It's just a tad there, but not enough to be concerned about.
Yep.
And then you go one forward at bladder 22, bladder 21.
Okay, so they're reasonably close to each other.
Yeah, they're one vertebra apart.
Yep.
So you're looking at in the gaps, between the gaps, and then out from between the gaps.
Mm-hmm.
And just a slight bit forward from there. It's not exactly straight out from the gaps, it's just a little bit forward.
Okay.
And bladder 20. So you feel that one. You
Yeah,
see
so
it
that one's
spasming there.
spasming. Yep. And is that when you correlate? So if it's bladder 20 and then you get your associated points, would that mean the spleen channel's affected? Is that how you'd kind of relate to it?
What it means is it's more the spleen itself
Okay.
is affected. That's just as the back shoe point. The back shoe point with energy directly into the organ themselves,
Okay.
and it's quite often to do with the emotions.
Spleen. Yeah.
The back shoe
The back
point.
shoe. Okay.
And one for the spleen is apprehension, worrying about the future. It also has to do with the spleen itself, like
Okay.
if you have too much sweet food, it can affect the spleen, get soreness in there, and if it just depresses me, but also when the spleen organ's involved, most of the time the spleen channel is involved too.
Okay.
So when you've got a problem with the spleen in here, when you feel it there, then you will go then for a spleen point, because you then heal something.
Any reason why you go down there? Is it more because it's distal or
and it's also on the spleen channel.
on the spleen channel? Yeah.
So that will be a good one, just in here.
Okay.
We go for.
Boy, Cody. Come on.
So that's that will be spleen 5 there.
Yep.
And with the dogs, you don't do ting points
No.
so much because they can be a bit painful.
Yeah, definitely.
So then from there, now with the so that's bladder 20. That's the back shoe point for the spleen. Now the alarm point for the spleen is liver 13. So the alarm points tend to be more in the front area, and then you find that one in here now. I'll just be gentle here because it's likely to be quite tender. Just in here, the liver 13. And if he drops down a bit, you'll be able to see that a lot better in there.
Okay.
It's just just behind that last rib there,
Yep.
in that lower section there.
Okay.
If you just put your finger there, you can feel that a little groove that's there.
Yeah.
In just underneath the
Under the
rib
rib?
bone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cody, stop. Yeah.
So that point, quite often,
So in line.
there's muscles through there. They get really tight
Mhm.
from the colic. They
Okay.
have colic, or if they're sore in their intestines, they get some stuck food. And now those 2 points here, they go together.
Is that because one's the alarm point
Yeah,
for the
one's-
spleen and one's the associated point?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So if you can work like here and here, and so you make a connection between those 2 points, and then you're clearing out any congestion that's in the spleen
Okay.
and renewing energy of the spleen.
Okay.
So that's a good pairing to do.
Together.
Yeah.
Because one's the alarm and one's the associated.
Yeah.
Come a bit closer, Cody. So get on the camera. That's it. Good boy.
So you got that one there, and then that one
Okay.
in here. So it's just a little bit tender in there, and just a little bit tender in there, and even just holding it like that with the dog makes the current run through there.
Okay.
Help to disperse any congestion and strengthen it.
Yeah.
Alright. So that's how you work with the combination
Okay.
pairing.
Do you then how do you pick specific points? Like obviously you've gone through and he's been tender on the associated point, so you then gone to the alarm point.
Yeah.
How do you then pick other points? Like do you pick it in the channel or do you pick different channels?
No, you mainly with the back shoe points. You will go and look at the other back shoe points.
Okay.
Sometimes you might pick up, say that liver 14 is 10 to 2, which is the alarm point for the liver.
Oh, is that because that was a liver point for the alarm point?
Yeah, that's the alarm point for the liver.
Okay.
So then you might go, oh, maybe I'll check this back shoe point.
So the bladder 18.
Yeah, the bladder 18.
Okay.
You can see, yeah, it's a bit bit touchy in there as well.
So you keep working for like off
Yeah,
each one.
yeah, and then sure you might think, well, she's being a little bit cranky.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's that if they're doing that might be why he's fighting with
The palm tree.
trying to get his aggression out.
He's normally angry because we leave him at home.
Right, that's right. So yeah, bladder 18. The next one up there's then you've got bladder 19, which is for the gallbladder,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel just there, just feels a little hard spot.
Yeah, right on that point.
Yeah.
So we're like that's his spine there. So we're quite lateral, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So then you go. That's a back shoe point for the gallbladder.
For the gallbladder. Yep.
So and the alarm point is gallbladder 24, which is just a little bit forward of that
Oh, so it's in line with the liver 13.
liver one. Yeah, it's just in there. So you got liver 14, gallbladder 24 is down in there.
Yep.
Yeah, and then liver 13 is just the next rib up. You usually get them like that.
Okay. So that one there would be
24.
gallbladder 24.
Yeah.
Okay. And then liver 13's
I'm lower down in here, behind the last rib.
behind the last rib. Okay.
So it's a little bit lower than that one, and behind the last rib and the
Mhm.
next rib up, gallbladder 24, and the next rib from there is liver 14.
14. Okay.
So they're all in that section there.
Okay. How big are the areas of needling? Like,
With
How
those, they're probably
specific?
about the end of your finger.
yeah. Okay.
So these ones the same, probably about the end of your little finger.
yeah. So you have to be specific.
You've got an area that you can play around with.
Mhm.
Usually when you find it's got a little nodule, like that one there, you can just go
So that'll
straight
be your
into
bladder
there.
channel.
Yeah.
And then your liver. So being, because this is transpositional, it's obviously showing it different to the traditional points, won't it? Because they're
They've got those.
transpositional though, that's the thing.
I can't read that. What's it?
So that's gallbladder 24, that's liver 14, and that's liver 13. So they're a little bit different
Oh,
because
okay.
it's transpositional
yeah,
points.
Yeah, they'll
Yep.
be slightly different.
Okay. They're in a similar area.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then is that how you'll formulate like a treatment plan? You'll go to your alarm points and then feed off. I'll go to your associated points, and if one's affected, you'll go to the alarm point.
Yeah, well, if one's affected, then you'll check the alarm point,
Yeah.
and you see if it's affected too, then you've got a good combination to do the two.
Mhm.
If the back shoe point's affected and the alarm point's not affected,
Mhm.
then you just go for the distal
Distal
point
point.
on the channel.
Okay.
That's
Does
the
it matter
next
which distal
section.
point?
Well, it has to be on the channel. It doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, as long as it's on the channel, but it doesn't matter which
No,
particular number.
no.
Hey, Lenny.
You'll use the you can use the source points, which is spleen 3, or you can use spleen 5. I like to do these ones around through here because they're easy to get to,
Okay.
and higher up. Probably that's the best way to go with those down in there.
Okay.
Around that section. So you can see he's got a little bit of swelling there, a bit touchy
Uh-huh.
there.
Is that on a particular channel?
That looks like it's on the gallbladder channel there,
Mm-hmm.
but it might be a little wide or something. Yeah, you probably could use these distal points in this section here too, rather than the T points.
Okay, because the tings are down here, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, you got them down, right down in there.
Mm-hmm. Good boy. All right, and then, yeah, so then you'll pick obviously points at the front or the back end, depending on the channel that's affected.
Yeah.
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 All right. Are we able to go over like the channels?
Yeah.
And
Okay. So
the reasoning, like, how come with some channels they stop? Like, not all of them go for example.
I know what you mean. They don't go the whole length.
Yeah.